Daylight on Wednesday morning revealed a scene of heart-rending devastation after a car left Nelson Road and crashed into part of the Taruheru cemetery, destroying or damaging up to 60 headstones. The vehicle, driven by a young man, veered off the road at about the midpoint of the cemetery frontage at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday night. The car went through part of the front barrier fence, demolished a hand-washing enclosure at an entranceway, hurtled through front row headstones before rolling and crashing back through the boundary fence to come to rest on the grass verge by the road. The path of devastation was spread over 30 to 40 metres. The driver, the sole occupant of the vehicle, was taken to hospital by a passerby, was treated for minor injuries and then discharged. The shock and sorrow on the faces of family members and others who went to the cemetery was plain to see. It's so very sad, it makes you want to cry all over again, one woman said to me. I'm speechless, said another. What a terrible and upsetting thing to happen. It's just incredible how much damage has been caused. It makes you wonder how on earth he managed to do it. Pieces of splintered boundary fence, the remains of the wash enclosure, smashed headstones and graveside ornaments were scattered over a wide area. Kaumatua Sir Derek Lardeli conducted a blessing at the site before a careful clean-up by recreational services began. GDC Chief Executive Nadine Thatcher-Swan and Mayor Riet Stoltz were at the blessing. It's a devastating situation for the families involved, and we will be contacting those people affected, Mrs. Thatcher-Swan said. We've got a really good database on the cemetery which will help us identify where the damaged and destroyed headstones belong, and I understand good progress has been made with that since this happened. They also have pictures of the headstones in many cases to help them. Mrs. Thatcher-Swan said they would look at the cost of repairs once they had established the insurance situation. Mayor Stoltz said it was a heartbreaking situation. What made it even more sad for her was to see that the affected area is part of the baby section, and she spoke to a couple of whānau who were affected. They were speechless. One man was there at daybreak to see if his boy's grave was affected, and luckily it was missed by a metre. A couple she spoke to were heartbroken their baby's headstone had been destroyed. As Riet said, our thoughts are with the families affected during this upsetting time. Council's acting Liverpool Communities Director, Deanne Sutherland, said some of the damaged headstones were repairable. In fact, I understand that only 4 are unrepairable at this point in time. The sites affected are from the 70s and 80s, and some include children. Staff are working through the archives, Deanne said, to identify the next of kin. And as I said earlier, good progress has been made there. The damaged rows are in the first 3 rows of Block 30. Cemetery activities will continue as normal this week. However, Deanne said they're asking that any non-urgent inquiries could wait till next week. Our priority is to support families through this process. Once the affected headstones have been identified, a temporary po or marker will be put in place at each site where necessary until the headstones can be replaced. Now, Area Police Commander Inspector Sam Abrahama said inquiries into the cause of the crash were ongoing. They've ruled out alcohol as a factor. The young driver will be summoned to court on June the 9th and he faces driving charges. Murray Roldson for the Gisborne Herald.